What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Adam Carriker, and welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the people show. And I'm a little extra excited for today's show. I did a ton of research for today's show, and right off the top, the title of the show is Deion Sanders versus Matt Rhule. Now, let me make something very, very clear. Don't get the image of these two guys in a boxing ring going head-to-head or anything like that. But there was a bunch of off-season hires in the college football landscape last year, and there were three names that stood out to me as the most recognizable, the most noticeable, and those three names are Deion Sanders, Matt Rhule, and Luke Fickell. And two of those guys happen to be going head-to-head this weekend, renewing a great rivalry in Nebraska versus Colorado. So it felt like, hey, if you're looking forward to seeing how these three men do, Deion, Matt, Luke, and other coaches as well, and how they do with their new respective programs going forward, and you're looking forward to watching that, hit that like button, because that's what this video's really about. Now, real quick, all right, I'm a former Husker. Proud. Everybody knows that. But I'm going to try to call this one right down the line as much as I possibly can, because here's the other thing. Deion Sanders was my favorite NFL player growing up. Okay, he was a freak athlete. He was prime time. He was fun to watch. He was the rock on the football field. He was electrifying. Okay, so he's a guy that I'm going to watch. I'm going to follow. Okay, no matter what. Okay, so for me, I'm going to try, he's a celebrity amongst celebrities. I'm going to try to call this one right down the middle as much as I possibly can. So let's light this candle. Deion Sanders, Matt Rhule, let's go. Deion Sanders, born and raised in the South, in the state of Florida. Now, he was an all-state honoree in football, basketball, and baseball. He was selected to the Florida High School Association's all-century team in football and originally drafted in the 6th round out of high school by the Kansas City Royals, something I did not know. Matt Rhule, born and raised in the North, son of a preacher, born in New York City, then moved to State College, Pennsylvania as a teenager and played linebacker at State College area high school. After high school, Deion Sanders played 3 sports, football, basketball, and track at Florida State. In football, Sanders was a 2-time consensus All-American 1987 and 1988. Jim Thorpe Award winner and was the 5th overall pick in the 1989 NFL draft by the Atlanta Falcons. He also excelled in baseball and track during his time at FSU as well. Matt Rhule, after high school, walked on at Penn State under Joe Paterno. He played for the Nittany Lions for 4 years and was a 3-time Penn State Scholar Athlete and a 1997 Academic All-Big Ten honoree. Rhule earned a bachelor's degree in political science from Penn State in 1997 and a master's degree in educational psychology from the University of Buffalo in 2003. After college, Deion Sanders, played 14 years in the NFL. 2-time Super Bowl champion, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 1994, Defensive Player of the Year in 1994 in the NFL, 8-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro. His list of accomplishments is a mile long. Okay, I'll just give you a couple more. 1992 NFL Kickoff Return Yardage Leader, NFL 1990s All-Decade Team, NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team. As a player, simply put, he's, in my opinion, the greatest defensive back of all time. Now, the man they call Prime, whether it's Prime Time or Coach Prime, also played 9 years in Major League Baseball. Coach Prime is the only player to ever hit a Major League home run and score a touchdown in the NFL in the same week. He's the only athlete to play in both the Super Bowl and the World Series. Okay, on September 21st, 2020, Deion was hired as Jackson State's head coach. He coached for 3 seasons there. His first season was a COVID season. So his last 2 seasons, he had a combined record of 23-3. They won 2 SWAC championships and a 2-time SWAC Coach of the Year. Now, Matt Rhule, after college, the more I've learned about Matt, the more I've liked him. Okay, he has coached about as many positions and is as well-rounded of a coach as I've ever seen on offense and defense and different positions all over the place. All right. Coaching offense, coaching defense. In college, he coached linebackers, defensive line, and that's how he broke into the college coaching ranks. Then he became Temple's quarterbacks coach. Then the next year, the Owls offensive coordinator. He's also coached defensive line in the NFL with the New York Giants a year after the Giants won their 4th Super Bowl. Okay, he's also been a head coach in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers. Now, as a college coach, okay, he took Temple, who was 4-7 the year before he got there, okay, and when he was done, they had back-to-back 10-win seasons. Temple hadn't had a 10-win season since 1979. They went to 2 straight conference championship games as well, winning their first conference championship. Their second conference championship all time in that program's history. Now, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, DPS Construction. All right, this show is brought to you by DPS Construction. All right, they are your local DPS concrete experts. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. But here's the deal. If you're looking to have good work done, It's Jason Armstrong. It's DPS Construction. If you're looking to find a good employer, like if you're a diesel mechanic, a CDL driver, or a concrete finisher and looking for work, go to dpsconstruction.net. Connect with Jason Armstrong because they are the employer for you. All right, now back to Matt Rhule. Baylor. When it comes to Baylor, I will spare you just how bad it was when he got there. All right, there was a bad sexual assault scandal, which got the whole previous staff fired. There was sanctions, scholarship limitations. It was so bad that Matt Rhule, whose dad was not only a preacher but a high school football coach, Coach Rhule called up his dad and his mom and asked them to move to Waco and help him. And he actually shared his office with his dad during his time at Baylor. And by the time Rhule was done at Baylor, the Bears were an 11-win, top 10 team, and Matt Rhule was a Big 12 Coach of the Year. Modern day, Coach Prime, the Buffaloes. They were 3 touchdown underdogs. And somebody sent me a text and said they only have 68 athletes on scholarship right now in that football program. I have to double check that fact. But if that's true, it's quite impressive. All right. There were 3 touchdown underdogs on the road versus number 17 ranked TCU, who played for a national title last year, who had an undefeated regular season a year ago. The Buffaloes put up 565 yards of total offense. Sanders set a school record 510 pass yards. He also had 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and they had 4 receivers with over 100 receiving yards apiece. And true freshman Dylan Edwards had 4 touchdowns, 3 receiving, 1 rushing in his college football debut. Now, Shadur, Dylan, and two-way star Travis Hunter are amongst a record-setting 87 newcomers at Colorado. Coach Prime definitely brought his Louis with him, at least so far. All right, Colorado had 1 win last year, as most of us know, and only 2 winning seasons since 2005. Now, Matt Rhule, modern day, led Nebraska into Minnesota, where the Huskers outgained and outrushed the Gophers. Okay, Nebraska averaged 5 yards per carry and over 7 yards per carry at one point during the game. They had 181 total yards rushing, while Minnesota had 55 total rush yards and averaged only 2.2 yards per carry. Now, Nebraska appeared to get stronger as the game went along. But penalties, 4 turnovers, and Minnesota capitalizing on those mistakes led to a late Gopher victory. Now, Nebraska also has over 50 newcomers in their own right, and over 40 of them are freshmen. Now, these two individuals, Coach Rhule, Coach Prime, are very different in a lot of ways. Rhule's a little bit more old school, although Sanders can be at times too, but Rhule's very blue collar and not about the limelight. Joe Mixon, who's a former Nebraska player, and now he takes pictures and helps me out with my website, CarrikerChronicles.com. Go check out all that phenomenal stuff. Cheap plug. At the spring game, he notices too, but they're waiting for the team to come out before the game, come out of the tunnel, run onto the field right before the game at Minnesota, and Coach Rhule's nowhere to be found. And then Joe kind of notices Coach very quietly, very nonchalantly, very quietly, kind of getting ready to come out with the team. And what we learned is that Coach Rhule wants the team to be seen. The only really coach you could see was the strength coach at first, and then he wants the team to run out as a team. He doesn't want the limelight. That is not him. He wants it to be about the rest of the team. Okay, now Coach Prime, he likes to talk about it, bringing his Louis and keeping receipts, and he's called Prime for a reason, okay? And he's just a little bit more flashy. Now, I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean it in a positive way. It's just factually correct. We all know that. It's one of the things that has always made him intriguing to me. Now, their teams also couldn't be much more different. Colorado is fast-paced, throw it all over the yard. Do they even know how to run the football? I mean, they averaged 1.6 yards per carry in their first contest, 55 total rush yards. Nebraska is much more methodical, fullbacks, tight ends. They want to be physical. And other than a trick play, I'm not even sure we know how to throw the ball past 15 yards just yet. Again, I'm trying to call this thing right down the line as much as I can, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're tracking with me. Nebraska looked really good on defense so far. Whereas the greatest DB of all time, Deion Sanders, his defense gave up 541 yards to TCU. Now, in fairness, I don't think Minnesota's that good this year, and that's not going to throw Husker fans, but I seriously also question TCU's defense, okay, at the same time. Colorado won by 3 on the road at the end of the game. Nebraska lost by 3 on the road at the end of the game. Right now, this game seems like a big mismatch on Saturday, but Colorado's only favored by 1.5 points in Boulder. Now, I got 3 questions for you right here, right now. Let me know in the comments below. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I have had so much fun getting ready for and doing this show. First question, who wins this Saturday, Nebraska or Colorado? Number 2, who has a better record at the end of this season? And remember, Colorado has the second toughest schedule in the country behind Purdue. And Nebraska has one of the easier schedules they've had in 3 or 4 years. Again, just facts. Number 3, in 4 to 5 years, who will we look back on as the better coach for their respective football programs? Now, coming up, I got a lot coming up. First of all, check out the Big Ten show. Just so you know, it's a new show I'm doing. It's coast to coast, Piscataway, New Jersey, out to LA and out to the West Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the Big Ten Conference is a national conference, so I'm excited to be talking about the Big Ten going forward. Check out the Big Ten show every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, Facebook, Twitter. I got multiple things going on. Go to CarrikerChronicles.com to check that out. Also, I'll give a reaction on my show, Carriker Chronicles, to Matt Rhule's press conference. I will give a prediction of my own, and I look forward to seeing what happens. Not just this Saturday, but this season, the next 3 or 4 years between these two and their programs. But I'll give my prediction probably Tuesday or Wednesday, a little earlier than normal, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Until next time, go Big Red, and always remember, now I'm not impartial to throw the bug.